pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 180. Pausing in one's hometown. Pausing is our core skill. Our framework is named after this core skill. Pause. Whatever emotional skill we wish to apply or make use of, it always starts with us pausing. Pausing is when we, whenever, wherever, choose to just stop for a moment, whatever we're doing, and just recognize where we are. Recognize what is going on outside of us, and recognize what is going on inside of us. And we do that for a second or two, and take it from there. To pause is to stop this mindless rushing and to become more in charge of what we're doing, to gain more control. Not complete control, but at least a little more control. And to sort of gain back our agency, that we are doing what we really choose to do, and not only mindlessly following someone else. That is pausing. To become a person, to become an individual, choosing for oneself. Today's episode is called Pausing in one's hometown. So we can pause wherever, but pausing feels differently and leads to different consequences depending on where we are doing it. It varies greatly depending on our location. And one important place, in some ways our most important place in which to pause, is in our hometown. Our hometown is like no other place to us. When we are in our hometown, we cannot be anyone else but who we are. Our hometown is very important to us. And at some points in our life, we might have difficulty acknowledging just how important this place is to us. We might want to sort of shun our hometown, or say that it's not that important, to minimize how much it means to us. When the truth is, it matters greatly to us. It is essential. It is key to sort of know who we are in the world. Every other place makes no sense without us first pausing in our hometown. And that's just how it is. So today I will speak a little about my subjective feelings as to how it feels for me to pause in my hometown. And the point is, in my doing so, by being specific about how I feel, it will open up for you, the listener, to associate freely to your own hometown. It is useful like that. My hometown is called Jönköping. It's spelled with 2 times the Swedish letter Ö. It's an O with 2 dots over it. So in English it's spelled Jönköping, but in Swedish it's called Jönköping. Jönköping is a medium-sized town. Some 100,000 plus people live here. It is located at the southern edge of Sweden's second greatest lake, Vättern. And it's called the light by Vättern, the light by the lake. Jönköping is maybe most known for being the hometown of the famous artist John Bauer. He painted these maidens and trolls in Swedish forest. Pausing in my hometown, Jönköping, feels different, very different today than from before the smartphones arrived, I would say. The smartphones arrived in Sweden in about 2010, 2009, 2010. And before then, pausing in Jönköping felt quite different to me than from how it feels now. So talking about pausing in one's hometown, it has changed with the arrival of this new technology of the smartphones. When I was a child, before the smartphones, before 2009, when I was a child and adolescent, pausing in Jönköping felt there was a lot of space in Jönköping. The air is sweet, sitting by the lake, and often fog and mist goes southward from the lake down over the town. The smell is sweet. The air is very mild, very easy on the skin. There are often these quite dramatic shapes of clouds coming over this town. Doesn't rain that much, like moderately much. Quite a lot of sunshine in Jönköping, or at least it feels like the sun is quite often out. People pausing in Jönköping as a kid people felt quite self-sufficient, like they just were going about their day, and it was quite an easygoing feeling in Jönköping growing up. I remember that people felt vain, very concerned about their appearances. I remember that as a kid I viewed the adults as sort of walking around more upright than was natural to them. So a bit vain. And also that people were quite shy in Jönköping. Didn't like talking too much, and when talking, just saying a few sentences at most. I remember as a boy that the girls in Jönköping were very pretty, but also very shy, very hard to get to know. And whenever talking to girls, they seldom wish to talk about almost anything. Very sort of fleeting experiences, very fleeting conversations, not really going that deep in any subject. But still, the feeling in the air was very sort of good air to breathe. And the streets felt just safe. And almost no people around that one had to be apprehensive of. Just kind people, basically everywhere. Almost never any incidents of any kind, anywhere. So quite shallow conversations in a everyday kind of life. Shallow and vain, yes, but very safe. Very safe, predictable, and I remember it to be very sunny, a lot of sunshine, and as I said, a good feeling in the air, very easy to breathe, a sweet and open air, physically, very healthy. I remember it felt very healthy as I paused as a kid. It felt like sickness and disease were far away, maybe almost non-existent, like they were just someplace else. After the smartphones arrived in 2009, 2010, so for the last 15 or so years, the feeling has gradually changed in quite a profound way. Now, as I pause, the most sort of the feeling that stands out the most is that people feel like they are running behind the corner. That people are like these shy animals, sort of seeing you and quickly jumping behind the corner. And this goes for both men and women, I would say. Especially women, but also men here in Jönköping. The feeling is that the streets are empty in a sort of kind of spooky way. More empty than they should be, because it's very beautiful in Jönköping. It's a beautiful city. But it feels like the streets are more empty than they are supposed to be. And this is not intellectual, but as I pause now, it feels more like there is more gravel on the ground. Like the ground feels coarser and more coarse to walk on. Before the smartphones, the ground felt quite smooth and sort of almost soft to the touch. Even asphalt felt sort of soft to the touch. But now the ground feels more coarse and more like it's more difficult to walk on it. Like it does not want to hold up people. That's the feeling. Also, something that has changed is that people avoid eye contact more now in my hometown. Yes. There's a lot more avoidance of eye contact. Before, as when I was talking about the girls from my childhood, people were shy before, yes, shy and shallow, absolutely. But now the feeling is not... Before, people felt shy and curious at the same time, sort of ambivalent, and this sort of traction going on there. But now it feels like the shyness has transformed into fear. And that's something else. Shyness and fear has a different feeling to them. And now it feels more fearful. A lot of fear going on. And jumping behind the corner or quickly getting into the car. It has changed radically, actually, now that I spend time with it, thinking about it. And these are very important things to dwell on for some time, because we are so much our hometown, and our hometown is so much who we are. We cannot understand who we are without thinking about our hometown, spending time in it. It's just so profound in us. And even if pausing now in my hometown has a more sad feeling to it, a more melancholic or distant feeling to it, it's still as important as it was when I was a kid. It's not less central to me today than it was then, just because it has changed for the worse. It's as central. And that's also just how it is. For better or worse, it's who we are, our hometown. And I guess you are feeling too right now, as we have spent some time thinking about our hometown, that it is something we can spend a lot of time with, pausing with, thinking about. It's just so important. And that's what we will keep doing, regardless of what happens. It's just too important. It's too central to our understanding of who we are and who we want to be. It's how it is. That's it for today. Thank you.